I think my
panic mode.
My
Panic
confusion
mode
is
with
that
the
it
phone.
doesn't read any differently. So actually, are you able
We'll
to
cut it off in just a
pull
second
up
too,
a website with the like?
You see the
Smirk,
show,
brother,
I'm always like,
smirk.
challenge everything. Learn to critically think and continue
Do you
to.
mind if I ask a clarifying question?
Here it
When you
comes.
say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically?
It's the biblical text that was written. It made it into you can actually look it up on Amazon. It's a Bible called, I have a version at home. It's called the Sinai Bible.
All right, guys. So today we're gonna see some fake Christians get embarrassed.
Wait. Billy Carson is not a Christian.
All right, fake Christian. So Andy Song has the full kind of background story. I'm just along for the ride.
You know
my
it's always
thoughts
fun. You know
on
it's
this
always fun
one.
with me.
So take it away. Quick intro, and let's look at this craziness.
All right, so Billy Carson is this guy who has been going around multiple different podcasts. He's even been on Joe Rogan talking about aliens and just talking a whole bunch of mess about how the Bible is wrong or the Bible has taken from other texts and all this other crazy stuff. So you've probably seen this guy if you're.
Well, if he was on Joe Rogan, then he's legit, right?
That doesn't mean anything, dude. But this guy's all about aliens, somehow intermixing faith and aliens together in a very heretical way. Black guy. And then you got Wes Huff.
Calling out the only black guy on the screen.
Hey, just so people know, in case of those that don't really follow this is super, super high level. Wes Huff is a biblical scholar.
That's the guy all the way on
the right,
on the other side, yeah.
With the Manny haircut.
Yep.
He knows like original languages like Greek and all that stuff, and he studies a lot. We're not gonna go over the whole 2 hours because it's a lot. I say look it up, but Billy Carson is suing Wes because of how bad he got smacked in this debate.
Okay. According to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible. That Bible predates the King James Version of the Bible. And the text there actually is about 12 to 14,000 differences between the Sinai Bible and the King James Version of the Bible, which came much later.
0.5.
And then also one of the things that were interesting is that they discovered the book of Jesus' wife, which is at the Harvard Seminary, which according to some scholars, it's a little controversial, but they claim that this is an accurate record that Jesus may have even been married, which then adds more, if that's true, it adds more to the hypothesis that maybe he wasn't crucified. I just personally believe that Jesus was an amazing human being. I don't think that he was the Son of God in the sense that he's God, but that we're all gods, as he said, ye are gods, and that we're to do greater things in him. And I just personally believe that the
pause it
return
real
of Christ.
quick. So right now we're all gods, like the mini gods crap.
I know.
You have that Jesus apparently married. Next thing you know, he's gonna talk about how Jesus had kids.
Well, no, he's first going off that Jesus was never crucified.
Yeah.
That's his main thing.
Yeah, but he's using all of these things as like
100%.
supporting arguments.
100%.
Okay.
And he even cites.
I mean, just on that alone, I would have been like, dude, you're on crack.
Well, I mean, he cites a book that was found to be credible at one point, and then they found that it was a scam. Some of the stuff he cites, even there was another book. I think it was the Book of Barnabas, or there's another book on there where it's actually a copy of a different text that was made into a PDF format, and it had errors that they copied into it as well. And this is in like libraries and stuff, and people have admitted to say that this text is not reliable, but he still cites that for his defense.
Is the return of the Christ consciousness. When we can all achieve a certain level of knowledge, wisdom, passion, understanding, empathy, love that he came to this planet with, and we get that in our mind and our conscience, and we can act on those incredible emotions and that understanding, that the whole world's going to transform instantaneously. And I think at the second coming is the coming of the Christ consciousness to the planet.
Real quick, this whole Christ consciousness crap, this is New Age belief. There's beliefs out there that people can use Christ energy, Christ power, and stuff like that. If it's not the Jesus of the Bible, that's not Jesus Christ power that you're tapping into. That is satanic powers.
Look at that, that guy's getting ready.
Look
at the nostrils.
Wait, just wait, man. Just wait.
Not a human being flying back to Earth to save people. That's just my personal understanding of how I perceived it over many, many years of going through this information and going through all this text.
And Wes, I'm gonna let you respond to that. And again, I mean, this is everyone listening to the show. I'm always like, challenge everything. Learn to critically think and continue to come to your conclusions. Even with Jesus, I'm not personally even waiting on that he has to come back to say, I already know I'm, like I said, that strength of God and consciousness is already, I can tap into that right now. So you don't have to wait for him to come back. For those that believe he does, to actually have that like next level of what that's supposed to mean. But Wes, go ahead on for what Billy was talking about. I think with a book in the Harvard Museum, and I heard something about Jesus's wife.
Yeah, well, first let me say I think it's really cool to not just be in the room proverbially with you, Billy, but be able to interact with you. Because I wish I could be there in person. Unfortunately, Toronto, Canada is a long way away from Florida. It's a little bit of a jaunt. But I really appreciate the fact that you seem to have investigated to a certain degree some of these facts. Do you mind if I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically?
It's the biblical text that was written that made it into you can actually look it up on Amazon. It's a Bible I have a version at home. It's called the Sinai Bible, right, from Mount Sinai. I'm assuming it's the mountain that they're referencing there. But they put together their own version of the biblical text prior to the King James Version being put out.
Sure. So when you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes. Okay. That's why I was trying to get some clarification, because so you can actually go and see Codex Sinaiticus is at the British Library. So you can go and see it. It's on display. And the British Library has actually digitized the entire manuscript. So I work with manuscripts in my linguistic work. I'm an expert on early Christian scribal culture, and particularly in Greek and Coptic manuscripts. I have a facsimile, so I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office.
He's like, real quick, hold on.
Bro, that dude's face when he's like, this is what I do. I'm a scholar. This man, like you can see it.
He's like, oh crap.
The fear of God just went into his body. It's funny.
Office. So I have a picture, and the only reason I asked for clarification is because I want to make sure that what I'm addressing is actually what you mean,
Gotcha.
And not addressing something else. Because the Codex Sinaiticus in particular is just it's a 4th century Greek manuscript. Mm-hmm. It comes from approximately between 325 and 350 AD. And its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. So my curiosity is just simply in kind of exploring, when you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there, I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up the end of, say, Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified. And that's in Codex Sinaiticus, or, the John 19, or any of the other ones. So I think my confusion is that it doesn't read any differently. So actually, are you able to
cut it off in just
pull up a website with the viewers or listeners or whatever be able to see that?
Right now to make sure I have the right the version that I'm looking at.
While he's pulling that up too, like I keep saying to all the people that aren't scientists traveling the world and linguists, I don't even know how to pronounce it the right way, like me.
Yeah, linguists?
Cyanide, I keep thinking of cyanide, like the poison. Cyanide Bible. So
right.
Is that like a version? So from my own knowledge that I know, like when I really studied all this, what I thought was interesting about the Bible was how many different eyewitness. I studied C.S. Lewis back in the day, how many different eyewitnesses and stuff there were. And they went on purpose to mention so many other names that they were able to cross-reference throughout history and throughout those times, from my understanding. And those were different things that I always thought were kind of interesting that I felt was a good concept of proof. And then I want Billy to answer. And also, I'm just curious, the Sinai Bible, was that where was that piece
I found
discovered?
the text where I was referencing, actually, I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
I misquoted. It's the Gospel of Barnabas. Now, if you look at a lot of his stuff, I don't know if he's taking it down, but everything has been the Sinai Bible. The Sinai Bible. The Sinai Bible said that Jesus wasn't crucified. There's mad YouTube shorts and stuff of this guy saying all the time.
I bet you on his phone he looked it up and he realized, oh crap,
And
I better switch my tune real quick.
And we'll stop it there, but Wes also talks about how...
Oh, come on. Wait, I think you sent me that other piece. I think I want to watch, because he goes into oh no, it's this other one, and then he shuts it down too, right?
Well, the Book of Barnabas is a fake book that was written that...
I think he says it. Put it.
All right, we'll go.
We don't want to hear you, bro.
I'm just saying I thought you wanted a short video today.
It is going to be short.
Okay, yeah, well, so that's good. So let's deal with that too, because I've actually worked with, there are 2 manuscripts of the Gospel of Barnabas. The Gospel of Barnabas is a really interesting document because it is a known forgery. And so that's why I think it's important to get these sources. So at the very start of the Gospel of Barnabas, which we only have 2 copies of, one is in Italian and one is in Spanish. We see...
Wait, I want you to catch that. There's only 2 languages is written in: Italian
Spanish.
and Spanish.
Hey! Dang.
That's like Castellano Spanish.
Yeah,
though.
coming after the weaklings, I guess, huh?
Bro, but yeah, the Gospel of Barnabas, right? I didn't know they spoke Spanish.
It sounds like it sounds like he's familiar already with his arguments. The other guy.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. Well, this Billy Carson's been putting stuff out for a while. He's not new. He's not new at all. He's been out for a bit. I mean, even the Joe Rogan interview, that was a couple of years old. That's not recent. Yeah. So this guy like really knows what he's coming up with, and he's just locked, loaded, and ready to go.
Gotcha.
Right off the bat that the Gospel of Barnabas, not to be confused with either the Epistle of Barnabas or the Acts of Barnabas, which are two apocryphal documents from the 2nd century, but the Gospel of Barnabas in particular, we know it's a forgery because it does things like in chapter 92, it says that Jesus spent 40 days on Mount Sinai and then he came to the Jordan River and he walked to Jerusalem. But Mount Sinai is more than a week's journey away from Jerusalem, and neither Mount Sinai nor Jerusalem are close to the Jordan River. So never mind there not being a route from the Jordan River to like around Mount Sinai or going to Jerusalem. But there are internal problems with the Gospel of Barnabas, which indicate that it shows no actual indication of evidence of coming from or even having knowledge of first century Jewish understanding. It actually says Jesus is the Christ, but not the Messiah, which indicates that whoever the author is, he didn't know that those were the same words.
And then he continues on.
Well, that is one of the when people are talking about the Bible and why it's reliable, that's one of the talking points is that it references actual places, and you can verify that the things that are talking about actually make sense for that time in history.
And even a lot of the places that we may not know exist, they've been found through archaeological digs.
Yep.
So it's like, so what is the point of all this, right? Other than seeing this amazing smackdown.
Laughing at people that don't know their Bible? Is that the point?
No, guys, we need to read our Bible. Now, I'm not asking you to become a linguistic expert like Wes is, but it's important that we at least know what the Bible says. Because if somebody just tells you this crap and you're not reading your Bible, you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's true. You know, we have to be like how Paul said, like the Bereans, where they were checking through and seeing what he was actually saying. So forget about knowing all these amazing facts and stuff like that, because you know, God recently showed this to me, and you and I were talking about this, about sometimes where we try and come up with defenses for the Bible or different arguments that we can use to disprove people. But, you know, the word is true. The word defends itself, and it's not so much of how clever we can be to try and convince people, but just more of making sure that we have that relationship with God and we know what his word says so we are not deceived.
Yeah, I think overall there's so much church history, there's so much studying and scholars that have come before us that if you're familiar with enough not only arguments but what has been proven to be true, I think you can identify crazy people like this guy and at a minimum be like, that sounds a little weird. And to be honest, I think that anybody that would have ran across this guy and had just heard some of the craziness that he was just talking about, Jesus being married and all this stuff, I've seen those arguments and I know that they're false, and at least I'm aware enough with the story that I would be like, that doesn't sound right, let me look it up, and fairly quickly I think you would have been able to discern that this guy is a fool. I'm just surprised that it sounds like he's, from what you were telling me, that he's been doing this and going around saying all this nonsense for a few years, and yet it sounds like this is the first time that he's truly being
100%
called to task, which is kind of crazy.
100%. And just the fact that I don't think he was expecting West to have the knowledge that he currently does, because again, his forte is more on the alien stuff. It just falls into the religious side, and from what I've seen from other videos like Ruslan and other people, it seems like there is some type of anger or just thing against Christianity where he constantly goes up against it. And he also is a good example of what it means to be a sore loser. Because this guy goes as far as, he's suing people for having this video, putting up copyright strikes. He showed up at this guy's house at 2 a.m. trying to convince him to delete this.
Who, the guy that he's with at the moment?
I think so, yeah, because those two are friends.
Gotcha.
I don't have the full scope of it, but it just shows a lot of being a sore loser. Yeah. This guy could just bow down gracefully and just take it for what it is, but He's just letting himself kind of be destroyed, right? Like how the Bible talks about, how like the guilty run or the fool runs. He's just running around.
I think he called more attention to it, so it's getting more fire now.
Oh yeah, dude.
Cool. Well, this was fun. I guess let us know in the comments. To be honest, this is the first time I'm hearing about this guy. I heard it from Anderson the other day, and I thought it'd be cool to take a look and share some of this with you guys. So let us know in the comments. Are there any other crazy arguments that you've heard before? Let us know what those are. How have you addressed them? Have you struggled with some of these things? Anything else before we close?
Bro, there's a lot of crap we can go over. Black Hebrew Israelites.
Oh, yeah.
Man, there's a lot. Yo, Preston Perry. If you guys are looking for some dope apologetic stuff, look up Preston Perry. He's got some stuff that is like high class. Like it goes against a lot of this type of foolishness. But before anything else, guys, read your Bible. Get to know the real God. Get to know who Jesus really is. And then go into all this crazy stuff. Don't try and fill yourself up with argumentative debates and stuff like that without really knowing who God is first.
All right, guys, that's all that we had for you today. And as always, just want to remind you that we must persevere. Peace.
Good night, guys.